Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. My name is Christina Araoka, and it is wonderful to see you all. Hope you all had a wonderful Earth Day. For our welcoming hymn, we'll be singing Swimming to the Other Side. You may rise in mind, body, or spirit and join us in singing. Sorry.
Welcome. UUCF acknowledges that this land is situated in the original ancestral homelands of the Ahachiman, the Kizh, and the Tongva peoples. May we continue to have the humility and courage to help restore what has been broken and the wisdom to live in solidarity with indigenous communities and the earth. We have a lot of announcements today, which means we've got a lot of stuff going on, so let's get to it. Tasty Tuesday will be at Lazy Dog Cafe in Brea this Tuesday at 5 o'clock. What if Tasty Tuesday was on a Wednesday? That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? Yes, Linda. Yes. Bring your dogs. If they're well behaved. That counts me out for mine. Okay, join us for delicious fellowship dinner. Remember, we do this every May to celebrate the success that we have in the pledge drive. It will be next Saturday. Can you believe it? It's going to be May 2nd at 5:30 in the Fellowship Hall. Mark Umbriaco has a lovely meal planned to celebrate this loving community and what we've done. Wow. what we've done during the pledge drive. I preached during the service before, so it is going. The crop walk is coming up next month, May 17th. Amy Neeram is heading up the effort for Team UUCF. You can sign up today. Where's Amy? There's Amy. So you look for her, and you can get your walk-on May 17th. We'd like to bring up Debbie Langenbacher for an announcement regarding our immigrant neighbors and how we can show up for them coming up next Saturday as well. Amy, or Debbie.
Amy's a good name. But...
Debbie, you can call me Ron.
Hey. Thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank everybody who came to our seminar last Sunday, our volunteer training to help our immigrant neighbors. And that is now on our YouTube channel, so you can, if you missed it, you can watch it. You can sign up for volunteering with Camino Immigration Services as well. And they have a whole list of volunteer needs. Coming up next Saturday on May 2nd, starting at 10:30 and lasting until 12:40, we've been working with OCO, Orange County Community Congregation Organization, for many years, but for the past year specifically on issues of immigration. And they're going to have a pilgrimage of solidarity where we're going to visit each of the sites in Fullerton where there has been ICE activity in the last year and a half. And it's going to start at the Home Depot that's on Placentia over in southeast Fullerton. And each point that we visit is going to represent a different faith group. And UUs will be represented at the corner of Chapman and Harbor, so just a block away up here. And that will occur at approximately 11:05. So I hope that many of you can come out for that. And Reverend Rob has written up a beautiful statement about our faith is UU's that applies to our immigrant community. And so I hope that you can all come out for that. And then one more thing, we've been helping an immigrant family since last August by delivering groceries and household items to them. And I'm taking sign-ups for May if you would like to help out with that. I have a few flyers also for the pilgrimage on May 2nd, so come see me after the service if you're interested. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. And now for a pledge update, we bring up Rebecca Duel Gallegos.
Good morning, friends. I'm Rebecca Duel Gallegos. I'm happy to be here with you for this final week of our UUCF Pledge Drive. I'm just going to dive right in today and have Ramon bring up the pledge thermometer. While he is doing that, I just need to correct the record. Ramon is actually as cute as our daughter, Josie. And, hang on a second, let me consult his notes, is also the world's greatest husband. You heard it here first. So, there is so much more red on that thermometer today than there was last week. I am so pleased to be able to announce that as of this past Friday, we have raised $175,730 in pledges. That's 78.1% of our goal and represents 38 pledging units. I think we all deserve a huge round of applause. Those of us on the Pledge Committee are grateful to all of you for putting in your time, for participating in lively cottage meeting discussions, for turning in those pledge cards or donating online, and ultimately for the commitment you've made to sustaining and even growing this community for the upcoming year. Thank you all so much. Now, a few weeks ago, my husband and I made the somewhat questionable decision to gift our children a Nintendo Switch, reasoning that what every child needs in these troubling times is more screen time. To feel better about this decision, I insisted that we occasionally play games together as a family. So one night, we all gathered to play Super Mario Kart, which, in case you were not a child of the 90s, is a rather chaotic racing game. We all had a grand old time flying around the virtual track in our goofy little cars, and by the end of our first race, my oldest daughter, Livia, had come in first, and Josie and I were somewhere in the middle of the pack of wacky NPCs we were racing against. My wonderful husband came in a very distant 24th, out of 24. So Livia asked him, "Dad, were you even pressing the accelerator button?" And Ramon said, "Which one's the accelerator button?" Folks, we are less than $50,000 in pledges from that $225,000 mark, and that last 20% is always the hardest to get. We would love to be able to tell you at the fellowship dinner this coming Saturday evening that we have gotten there. But to do so, we cannot, in this instance, be like my husband. We cannot take our thumb off the accelerator button. To reach our goal, the Stewardship Committee estimates that we need another 40 or so pledge units. That's individuals or households to donate this year. If you usually pledge, but you haven't done so yet, or you're on the fence about how much you want to give, now is the time to make that commitment. Maybe you don't typically pledge, but you do put money in the basket some Sundays. Maybe you aren't sure whether you can be consistent or give very much. Reverend Rob and our worship team aren't kidding when they stand up here and tell us no amount is too small. Every little bit you give of your time, talent, and treasure is important to this congregation. You are important to this congregation. So if the church is important to you, or if you see its value to the broader community, the world at large, to the fight we're in for the future and the values that we all hold dear, justice, equity, transformation, interdependence, love, consider whether you can turn that basket donation into a pledge. The good news is we do our best to make it easy for you. If you give digitally, through Venmo, for example, you can specify that the money should go toward your pledge. If you put money in the basket, we have these handy little envelopes right back there with the joys and sorrows slips that let you check the pledge box for that cash you're donating. And you can fulfill your pledge on your own timeline, bi-weekly or monthly, or all at once at the beginning of the year, or all at once on June 30th, 2027, although if you might give our treasurer a wee bit of heartache if you wait that long. As long as you can donate whatever amount feels right to you sometime in the next fiscal year, we are more than happy to have your pledge. This week's plea is my last plea. Hooray! We all, not just Reverend Rob or the board or the stewardship committee, but all of us together have spent this past month envisioning how we want UUCF to grow, talking about how to empower our congregation for the future, and remembering why we love this community. So let's keep it going. Keep our thumbs on the accelerator button, and get those final pledges over the finish line. Thank you again so much.
Just very quickly, how many of you go to Starbucks every week? How many of you get coffee every week? Okay. Wow, not a lot of coffee drinkers here. Think about the investments that you do make in the things that you value. Think about going to the gym. Think about going out to eat. Think about movies and streaming and all of the things that give you joy. Also think about this place as a spiritual gym where we come every week to tone up, to be prepared for the week ahead. And we all know each week brings a lot of new stuff, right? We need to meet this moment in a way that we are ready to deal with the problems of the world through the values that we have, and put a dollar amount on that. It's really important to invest in a community that invests in you so that we can continue this movement of love. So this is the last week to donate for the pledge drive. Please do, so that we can continue this important work for such a time as this. Now, 1 to 2 minutes for you to talk to your neighbor and say hello. I'm sweating. Are you? Yes.
No, it's a matter of just getting on time. Yeah. This is really the only verse I'm looking at is the third verse, because I don't want to mess up those words. Cool. Oh, yeah. This one, dance, flame of fire. Yeah, like, I don't really need that verse so much as I need this verse. But once we start going, I don't have time to like sit here and go like this, You're so fast, you just hit the button and it goes. I know, I need to get more techno like you. Yeah, I have this one too. Sometimes though, it's like the...
If you please take your seats. Our caring listener for this week is Sophia Kang. Sophia is right over here in the red and black. You can speak with her after the service if you have any concerns, anything that you would like to talk about, just to have a non-judgmental ear to just listen. And we'd love for you to meet Sophia, who has a heart of gold. We're so glad that she is part of our caring listener team now. We'll be sharing joys and sorrows a little later in the service. The pink pieces of paper are in the back. If you are online on Zoom or Facebook, we encourage you to get those in as soon as possible so that we can light a candle for you during our joys, concerns, and sorrows. Now it's time to sing.
For our hymn of the month, we'll be singing All Creatures.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, All Creatures of the Sky. You may rise in mind, body, or spirit and join us in singing.
All creatures of the earth and sky, come kindred, lift your voices high. Alleluia, alleluia, bright burning sun
You may be seated. I now invite Juana to light the chalice. Committed to respond to the call of a wounded world, we join together this day with loving hearts, with loving hands and minds, embracing the interconnected web of water, air, and earth. We light a fire of sustaining hope, ever bright, with love and justice. May we bring forth this day new wisdom, strength, and courage to create a new world, not of wealth, but well-being, a world of new peace and abundance for all. As we give thanks for this earth, our shared and singular home, may we dedicate ourselves to its ongoing care, rising to the calls deep within all of us and all around us. May we respond today and always with courage and with love. Please join me in saying our unison affirmation. This flame affirms the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. Love is the doctrine that we share. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need, thus do we covenant with one another.
Madre tierra, queda conmigo, yo te quiero. Caríciame, madre, yo te cuidaré. Sálvame en este momento de mi bendición. Perdóname, Madre tierra, por todo que yo he hecho. Tenía que lastimarte para sobrevivir. Discúlpeme por destruyendo sus bosques y aguas. Madre tierra, protégeme y yo te protegeré. Yo me meto en tus brazos fuertes.
Sí, muchas gracias, Madre Tía. It is our custom to provide donations of non-perishable food and personal care items for Pathways of Hope, a local food bank. Please check the dates on your items. We are unable to donate any items with expired dates. As the children come forward, they are asked to collect the donations placed at the end of the rows. And now the children are invited to come forward for the time for all ages.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we
Hello? Yes. Hi. We love all children in mind, body, and spirit. Good morning, everyone. I'm Joy. I'm one of the RE teachers here, and welcome to our post-Earth Day celebration, I guess. So when I think of Earth Day, I don't know about you guys, but do you guys ever just like, I picture myself like as an astronaut, like looking at the Earth, like this big ball, just floating in space, like this. And I'm like, gosh, that's so big. And I'm so small. And how can I fix the Earth? And I always hear about things like, save the rainforest, or save the whales, or like the Great Bear. Don't touch the bowls, let's just leave those. I don't know what those are for. Or like, the Great Barrier Reef is like shrinking. I'm like, oh gosh, these are really big problems. But what can I do? Do you guys ever feel that way? Because, or maybe it's just me. But then I think, okay, let's zoom in a little bit. Because like, if I just think about, oh, I need to protect the Earth, this big ball in space, like I just feel overwhelmed. And I just don't know what to do, and I feel paralyzed. But then I think, actually, if I just like open my back door, I'm like, okay, actually the Earth starts here, just right outside. Or maybe even at the spider living in the corner by my back door. I'm like, maybe that little spider starts the Earth. And we can think about, okay, maybe I can't save the whales or like save the rainforest, but maybe there are things that I can do or that anyone can do. And maybe, you know, if you don't have a backyard, that's fine. It could be your front yard, your side yard, like, I don't know, wherever, your local park, wherever you take a walk. And maybe it's just something like you see a piece of trash and you pick it up. Even Andrew was like, today we should go and pick up trash. I was like, actually, that's a great idea. That's like a perfect way to take care of the Earth, which, like that we were just singing about, takes care of us. And another way is like maybe you have some bird seed and you put up a bird feeder, or like seed, or like the little hummingbird nectar. Or maybe you make a hotel for bees, because apparently not all bees live in hives. Some are like little sad, lonely bees, but I guess that's their way of life, so maybe they're not lonely. But they need places to live too, and they pollinate our plants so we can have fruit and trees and beautiful flowers. Or maybe you like to, this is a good one, don't step on snails. That would be a great one, you know? And it's just being able to, instead of be paralyzed by thinking about saving the whole Earth or taking care of the whole Earth, it's zooming in on those really tiny possibilities that we can do as individuals and taking care of those tiny creatures who in turn take care of us. So thinking about our little bees outside, or maybe just taking a spider outside instead of smashing it, or maybe, you know, not destroying a bird's nest, just those tiny things. And then as you do each tiny action, I think more opportunities will open to you. And when we all do that, and we all take care of what is outside our back door and front door, I think the world will become a better place little by little. So just remember that, yes, the earth, we're on this big ball in space, but it's also just the patch of grass outside of our door. So have a great Sunday.
Go with wisdom, go with wonder, go to create a bright new day. Learn to see the light within you as we send you on your way. Go with wisdom, go with wonder, go to create a bright new day. Learn to see the light within you as we send you on your way.
It is now time for our joys, our concerns, our sorrows. We begin by lighting a candle for all of our concerns for the larger world, our wish for peace, our wishes for justice, our hopes for our kids who will inherit this planet that we will talk about a little later on during this Earth Day celebration. May this candle represent all these wishes and calls to action that are more than we can articulate in this space. There's been a lot of gun violence in the last week and a half. Louisiana seeing 2 mass shootings. Then last night at the correspondence dinner, we are thankful that no one was injured in that attack. We have a pile of a lot of joys today. Saw some clapping. This is from Anonymous. Yesterday was TJ's birthday. We are so lucky to have him in this community. Thankful to have him greeting our visitors. Happy birthday, TJ. This from Jean Lau, a joy. Last night's barbecue and game night, generously hosted by Amy, Justin, and Julie Needham as part of the mini service auction, was an absolute blast. We laughed endlessly from the start of the very first game and enjoyed some wonderful company and seriously delicious food. Thank you to the Needhams for opening their home and creating such a fun and welcoming event and evening for everyone. This from Christina Garner, a joy. It was a great joy to hear our music director, Christine Arioka, perform with the Hubach Jazz Quintet at the Wow, you're really giving it to me today. Muckenthaler Cultural Center last week. They lit up the room. Hubach Jazz. I've got it now. A joy from Natalie Cruz. I'm glad to share that I got my new assignment at work for the rest of the semester. It is a new, unique position that suits my strengths, style, and interests. Congratulations, Natalie. Another joy. This from Connor. A joy for joining others this Friday, May 1st, International Workers' Day, in protest in Los Angeles. Let our voices be heard. We now light one more candle for all the joys, the many concerns, the many sorrows that remain unexpressed but are still held close to our hearts. And now please join me in saying the affirmation on the screen. We join you In celebrating your joys, may you feel our love and compassion for your sorrows and concerns, for all that is spoken and unspoken. May the caring of our beloved community sustain us all.
For our next hymn, we'll be singing For the Beauty of the Earth. You may rise in mind, body, or spirit, and join us in singing.
For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from above over and around us lies, source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour, of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light, source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child, for the kinship we all share, for all gentle thoughts and mild, source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
You may be seated.
In lieu of our meditation today, we are treated to a wonderful sound bath by Kate.
And Jay.
And Pete Seeger, the famous American folk singer, used to say, "A good song reminds us what we're fighting for." May I also add, so does a good music video. Music is uplifting and unifying. This video is positive and motivating call to action. It is meant to be used as a tool for educational purposes to inspire action. We can do this. Oh, yes, we can. This video, which we'll show shortly, was filmed in houses of worship from across Massachusetts, including North Parish UU, North Andover, Old South Church UCC, Boston, AME, African Methodist Episcopal Church in Jamaica Plain, and 2 other locations, True Collaborative YWCA, Manchester, New Hampshire, and On the Boston Common, in front of Massachusetts State House. The backbone of the climate change movement is rooted in faith-based congregations. Unitarian Universalists are well known for being at the forefront of social, environmental, and peace movements.
You are our sunshine, our only sunshine. Greenhouse gases must go away. We hear your warning about global warming. Tomorrow will be a brighter day.
We can no longer just stand by as glaciers melt and species die and disappear, billions in tears. It is time to clean up our skies. Together, put on the brakes. Turn around before it is too late. No more than 2 Celsius degrees. We can do this if we all believe.
You are our sunshine, our only sunshine. Greenhouse gases must go away. We hear your warning about global warming. Tomorrow will be a brighter day.
Fire, floods, droughts, hurricanes, energy policies that are insane. We must save our earth in time, not protect the corporate bottom line. All that methane and CO2 can be controlled. It's up to me and you. Raise our voices, we're not alone. This blue sphere is our only home.
You are our sunshine, our only sunshine. Greenhouse gases must go away. We hear your warning about global warming. Tomorrow will be a brighter day.
A cleaner world within our grasp. Make hydrocarbons a thing of the past. Solar, wind, and hydro too is our future. It's up to me and you. An agreement over in France gives us hope, the world a chance. But we all must get on board, fully implement the Paris Accords.
You are our sunshine, our only sunshine. Greenhouse gases must go away. We hear your warning about global warming. Tomorrow will be a brighter day.
What will our children say if we do nothing but turn away? For them and us, the future calls. Save our planet for both one and all. Youth of the world, understand. We hold their future in our hands. Now is the time, now is the hour. For together we all have power. So stand up, take control. It's our world, only one we know. Stand together, hand in hand. We can do this, oh yes we can.
You are our sunshine, our only sunshine. Greenhouse gases must
Do you hear all those groups? UUs, UCCs, the AME Church, the YWCA, all of them coming together, unified for something beautiful. You know, I spend my weekdays in a high school classroom. My husband does too, and between the two of us, our household runs on coffee, like I talked about before. Lesson plans, stories from the day, and the occasional late night question, did you hear what happened in Block 3? We spend our days with young people who are bright and funny and distracted and compassionate, overwhelmed, creative, and sometimes mysteriously unable to find that assignment that has been posted in the same place all week. They were born after 9/11. They don't remember a world before smartphones. Many were in middle school when the pandemic shut down their lives and rearranged their sense of time and trust and community. They've grown up in a political climate so tense and fractured that this dysfunction feels ordinary to them. And yet, they are deeply perceptive, and they are not naive about what they face. They scroll climate news between TikTok videos. They know what 1.5 degrees Celsius means before they know how taxes work. They've learned the language of carbon budgets and rising seas and tipping points before they've even learned about mortgages or retirement plans, if they get to see retirement. Sometimes in those seldom quiet moments, when the lesson is over and bell hasn't rung yet, when the performance of being fine relaxes for a breath, I get to hear them talk. They talk about whether it makes sense to have kids someday. They wonder whether certain parts of the country will still be livable in 50 years. They speak of wildfires and droughts and flooding and heat waves, not as this possibility in the distant, but as ordinary features of the world they are inheriting. You know, many of us with the silver hair grew up during the Cold War, when the image of that doomsday clock hovered near midnight and nuclear annihilation felt like the great shadow over all of us. It was frightening. It was also abstract. There's always some button somewhere, some leader somewhere, some crisis unfolding somewhere else. For our young people, that button and that football is worrying, and the clock is different. It is not abstract. It can be measured in parts per million of carbon dioxide and shrinking ice sheets and rising ocean temperatures. It can be felt in those longer fire seasons and stronger storms that we have seen in Enid, Oklahoma, with an EF4 tornado, and a severe weather season that is just getting started and already causing turmoil. Summers, winters seem angrier every year. Clock is ticking louder for them. Now, some of you know that before ministry, I worked as a meteorologist. There was a season of life when I stood in front of a green screen, studied climatology and meteorology, and looked at a forecast that became more and more complex and troubling. March for us and in the United States was the hottest March since we started records in 150 years. The past decade has been the hottest ever. We have already warmed the planet significantly beyond pre-industrial levels, and the distance between where we are and where we are headed is not only measured in degrees, it is measured in homes. In our community, lost to fire, crops weakened by drought, coastlines threatened by water, and communities strained by displacement. Our students at my school, which is the sister school of Orange County School of the Arts, is in the San Gabriel Valley. It's called CS Arts SGV. In our high school, 30 to 40 lost their homes in the Eaton fire. So they have experienced all of this firsthand. This plus lockdowns, adults raging at another over masks and vaccines. They grew up in an algorithm-driven world where outrage spreads faster than wisdom and comparison spreads faster than compassion. And still, under all this trauma, they show up. Each day they write essays, they make music, they fall in love, they get their hearts broken, they volunteer, they organize, they laugh, they talk during lectures. Boy, do they talk. They dream about futures they are not entirely sure will welcome them. You know, there's a phrase for what many young people feel. They may not say it, but it's out there. It's called eco-anxiety. Sometimes older generations criticize younger people for everything. How many of you had mothers and fathers who said, Elvis is bad. He does those things with his hips. It's always normal for us to look at the next generation with worry. But perhaps anxiety is what happens when reality is arriving early for them. And they're 14 to 18 and already calculating the survival of the planet. And a few years ago, a 15-year-old girl who you saw in the video from Sweden decided that if adults would not act like the crisis was real, she would do it. Greta Thunberg, that's how she pronounces it, began sitting outside her nation's parliament with a handmade sign that said, "School strike for climate." She didn't have a staff, no consultants, no donors, no microphone, just one teenager, one sign, and a conscience that would not sit quietly. Many dismissed her. She's been mocked by the most powerful people in the world. Others have rolled their eyes the way powerful people do when uncomfortable truth arrives in a younger prophetic voice. But that one young woman, that solitary witness, became a movement. She became an example of what one heart can do to change the world. Students across the world walked out of classrooms to say, the future matters now. Greta later stood before world leaders and said, our house is on fire. And our young people keep asking the adults in the room whether we plan to pick up a hose or continue to debate the wallpaper. You know, Earth Day can be really sentimental. Plant a tree, use recyclable materials, post a sunrise photo online and congratulate ourselves for caring. Not all of us. Some of us. And those aren't bad things. but we are at a place where they are not enough. And remember the movie Titanic. And that's a good metaphor where we are right now. Meteorologically, climatologically, the science is saying that, and the orchestra is playing, and people are enjoying the music without understanding what is next. That's what she's saying. So for young people, this is not symbolic, it is personal. They're trying to imagine adulthood in a time of instability, and when I look at them, here's the hope. I don't see fragility in them. Yeah, they're on their phones too much. But I do see resilience. I see them in a time where religion and spirituality seems not as hip. I see them working for the greater good, for something bigger than themselves. And that is where the hope is. But their resilience should never become an excuse for our inaction. As Unitarian Universalists, we speak of the interdependent web of all existence, and that phrase is not decorative theology like the wallpaper. It is ecological truth. What we burn here warms somewhere else. What we waste here burdens somewhere else. What we ignore here returns somewhere else. And that somewhere else eventually becomes someone else. And the truth is, it usually affects those who are vulnerable, the most vulnerable. Usually communities of color, usually those with the fewest resources and the least protection, and not the means to move out of areas with factories. Environmental justice is racial justice, economic justice, intergenerational justice. It is a spiritual movement too, because what kind of soul sees preventable harm and chooses convenience anyway? I know I'm speaking to the choir, but I want to speak for young people who I've interacted with, who aren't here. You know, there's a temptation among adults to move in two directions at once. Some say it's not that bad. Others say it's too late. Others say it's in God's hands. And those are excuses. And both and all forms of surrender. But here's the hope. The window, yes, is narrowing, but it is not closed. We know what helps. We know about renewable energy, cleaner transportation, wiser policy, reduced waste, better design, and collective courage. They all matter, but none of these alone will save us. But together they begin to bend the arc. And we have done difficult things before. I mean, here in Southern California, many of us remember when LA was known around the world for choking smog in the 70s. The air was worse, children suffered, and many assumed that was simply the price of progress. But people organized, and scientists warned, and laws changed, and technology evolved, and standards improved, and the air got cleaner. If you saw the LA Times, we've got work to do again. But all of this, I want you to remember, matters. No matter who is in office, no matter who is in power, if a 16-year-old from Sweden can start a movement, it reminds us that doom is not inevitable and change isn't fantasy. You know, the clock ticking louder is not a funeral bell or a flatline beep. It's an alarm clock. I'm going to beat the metaphor again. We can't hit snooze. Because alarms they're not given to shame us. They're given to wake us up. And as a meteorologist, let me add this. When the alarm goes off, you don't roll over and mumble, maybe the storm will head north. Denial doesn't change a forecast. So here's the invitation for my students. Ask them their worries. They know what to do. They're paying attention. When they express fear about the future, I try not to offer platitudes. They deserve better and more than saying everything is fine, because it's not. But many things can become better if we are intentional. So I tell them the truth as gently as I can. Yes, they've got a big job ahead of them. Yes, the science is sobering. Yes, human beings are capable of many awful things, but also capable of astonishing change. We've dismantled unjust systems. We've cured diseases. We've rebuilt after wars. We've protected rivers once declared dead and skies once written off as lost. History, yes, contains a lot of catastrophes, but it also has a lot of courage. We Americans have done a lot wrong, but there is a pattern of reflection where we say we can always be better. Our task is not to guarantee outcomes. Our task is to align ourselves with what preserves life, with our UU values. And that is the central value of love in action. The prophet Isaiah once wrote, "They shall build houses and inhabit them. They shall plant vineyards and eat fruit." What a vision that is. People able to build, to stay, to harvest, to trust tomorrow enough to plant for it. Our students deserve that future. They deserve summers without catastrophe. They deserve leadership that treats science as guidance rather than an inconvenience, and elders who do more than just say, "Sorry about that." The clock is ticking louder, but ticking is not destiny. It's an invitation for us as Unitarian Universalists, for courage, for policy, for solidarity, for sacrifice, for imagination. When I stand before my students, I don't want them to inherit only our anxiety. I want them to inherit our commitment. I want them to know that when the warning came, we didn't turn away. We didn't hit the snooze button. When the truth became inconvenient, we didn't retreat. When the hour grew late, we still chose service to one another. We chose love. And perhaps one day when the air is cleaner, and I choose to believe that one day we will make happen, and the waters are healthier, when justice has grown roots and hope can take hold, a young person will look around with gratitude rather than fear. And may they say of us, when the moment came, our elders listened, they loved, they thought of us, and they took action. Amen.
At UUCF, we embrace the possibility of a world filled with peace, acceptance, justice, love, and joy. By our financial commitment, we help this congregation, through its maintenance, mission, and ministries, make those possibilities real in a challenging world. Our basket is being brought around the sanctuary, and there are payment options on the screen. Whatever you're able to give is received with gratitude. We thank you for your commitment and your generosity.
Thank you, Christine. Yes, the clock is ticking louder, and I look at the clock and I know we're a little late today. But we hope that you've been inspired to go from this place awake to the ticking, not as a sound of doom, but as a call to courage with love and focus on the children. They are watching us. They are watching the news. They are aware. Let us be an example for them. And now we need to extinguish the chalice. But as we do so, we don't forget the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we share and carry in our hearts wherever we may go. And so we say together, Amen. Shalom, Salam, Namaste, and blessed be. What would an Earth Day service be without singing one of our favorites? Yeah, it's Blue Boat Home. Please rise in mind, body, or spirit.
Still my dry land heart can say, I've been saved.
Now please join us for our food and fellowship. Thank you so much.